Okay. It's a pleasure to join with Tom Prendergast, who's the chairman of the MTA, Mayor General Tony German, who is in charge of the National Guard Forces, Sergeant Randy Smith from the New York State Police, New York City, Deputy Inspector Bill Ronaldo from the MTA Police, Councilman Corey Johnson, Assemblyman Gottfried. First, we have called out an additional 1,000 National Guard and State Police, just as a precaution following the episodes of the past few days. And I want to thank them very much for being out here, providing a sense of security and a sense of confidence. As you know, the investigation has moved quite quickly on the bombing, and there's a person of interest who all the coordinated agencies are now pursuing. And it is really remarkable when you think about it how fast this investigation has moved. So that is a very good sign. And the message from New Yorkers is we're going about our business. And it's a Monday, and the MTA is up and operating, and the trains are up and operating, and the airports are running, because we're not going to allow the terrorists to win. What do they want? They want to disrupt. They want to intimidate. That's what terrorism is. And we're not going to let them do that. And that's why we work so hard, and that's why I applaud the MTA and all the other agencies and how fast they came back up to speed, because this is New York, and in New York, we're not going to be intimidated by these terrorists. I just spoke with President Obama, who first wants to congratulate all the first responders, who he says, as he's been watching, they've done a phenomenal job. He gave a shout out to the National Guard. I told him that I was going to be seeing them today. He wanted to personally thank them. And I gave the president the same message. I said, we're up, we're running, we're going to pursue the investigation, we're going to bring who's ever involved to justice, and the disruption is going to be to their lives, not our lives. But in the meantime, New Yorkers don't get intimidated. It's not who we are, it's not in our blood, it's not in our DNA. We've been through a lot worse. We went through the 93 World Trade Center bombings. We went through 9/11, and we're not going to allow them to interfere with our lifestyle. So congratulations to the first responders. I want to thank them all very much. They came out on short notice. To the MTA police, to the NYPD, to the FBI, that has been fantastic. We're going to get this guy, and we're going to bring him to justice, and in the meantime, we're going to keep New Yorkers safe. So thank you again to all the first responders. Questions, comments?
What can you tell us about any potential links between these various devices?
Well, there are certain common elements among the devices. The bombs used in Elizabeth and New York are different, but there were some common elements. Compounds that were in the bombs, as well as some technology. And that's one of the theories by which the investigation thinks that there may be one person or one group of people behind all of the bombs.
You said you spoke to President Obama. He's been uncharacteristically quiet, given that he's in New York and this happened in New York.
Well, he was very well informed, I can tell you that. I spoke to him about the investigation. He was totally up to date in the investigation. So he had been getting briefings all along, that was clear. That was his primary focus. And he wanted to make sure that we had everything we needed in New York. And I told him the FBI couldn't have been any better. The Department of Justice has been great. We've been dealing with a lot of federal officials and coordinating, and they really have been extraordinary. So there's nothing that we needed at this time. And he asked how we were doing, and I said we're doing just fine, that New Yorkers don't get intimidated, and he wanted me to express his gratitude to all the first responders.
So his comments came through you. He
Yes.
hasn't made any public comments, Governor. I think that's weird.
Well, I'm sure he will. I'm sure he wanted to get to a point in the investigation where we have facts. You know, it's not helpful when you don't have any facts and you just take a lot of questions and you have no answers, or early in an investigation when it's not appropriate to be talking about the investigation. You know, I was the Attorney General before I was governor, and we did a lot of investigations. I understand the public's right to know and desire to know, but you can also interfere with an investigation, and you don't want to do that.
Can you talk about whether there are going to be any ties to international terrorism?
It's too early to say.
Governor, what's been your
Governor,
coordination
have you
with?
spoken to the mayor about what appears to some as a disconnect about how to characterize this so far? As you know, the mayor has been unwilling to use the word terrorism. Why are you guys not on the same page about it?
No, we are. Look, I was with the mayor yesterday. We agree on all the facts, all the circumstances, all the actions. We are totally in lockstep on both the strategy and tactics of what we've been doing. Period. I said yesterday, I believe it was an act of terrorism. Now, 2 bombs go off. By definition, terrorism is taking an action that endangers human life, that appears to be intended to cause intimidation or coercion. I believe you set off a bomb, you try to set off a second bomb, that's an appearance of trying to intimidate New Yorkers. The second question was, is there a link to foreign organizations? And yesterday there was no hint of any connection to foreign terrorism, right? No group had taken accountability, no group had put out a statement, and it was very early in the investigation. It still is early, but there may very well turn out to be a link to foreign terrorist organizations, and that we'll find out today or in the coming days. But I think it was semantics yesterday. Some people call it terrorism. Some people said it appeared to be terrorism. I believe that's all semantics. I also believe you had a little politics going on yesterday, frankly. Part of it was, well, Hillary Clinton called it this and Donald Trump called it that. So the media loves the politics in the silly season, and we are in the silly season, which is more like a crazy season this season. From my point of view as governor of New York, I just want our people to know the facts, know the truth. New Yorkers, I believe, can deal with anything. I'm a lifelong New Yorker, born and bred, but they want the facts and they want the truth, and that's what I wanted to give them.
Governor, can you address, or can Mr. Prendergast address in terms of measures being taken in the transit system?
When we closed the stations, we made sure that we were responding to the needs of the investigation to do what they had to do. Then we came in and did an inspection to make sure there were no structural issues, and then as they gave the stations back to us, we returned service. We've got a heightened awareness out there with MTA Police as well as the New York City Police Transit Bureau, and we've had a heightened presence with the other agencies as the governor has outlined. And we'll remain with that heightened presence, holding people over at the major terminals and keeping our eyes open. If you see something, say something.
What should riders expect to see? What should riders expect to see?
Uniform presence as you see here right now, that's what they'll expect to see.
Governor, what
You know, excuse me 1 second. You probably have this week the highest security and police presence ever assembled. The NYPD has increased forces. The federal government has increased Homeland Security forces. We have additional National Guard, additional state police, partially given the UN General Assembly, partially given what's gone on over the past couple of days. So it's probably the highest security presence that we've ever seen in this area.
Governor, what concerns do you have about possible devices that have yet to be discovered, and is there any idea whether they might be out there?
Well, look, we have no reason to believe that there is there are any other devices from this situation or from these individuals. But let's be honest. I'm governor of New York. Every day, I believe we have to be in a state of readiness. We know New York is a target for terrorism. We know the frequency of terrorist attacks is increasing globally. It's all over the country, big cities, small cities. It's all over the globe. So be vigilant, be on constant guard, and just assume that there could be a terrorist attack at any time, anywhere. I think that's the most prudent course to take, and that's how we operate. But we have no specific information on anything else from this episode.
All right, guys, one more. The man who all your officers are looking for at this point and the public. Think you could tell us?
Nothing new that you haven't heard.
Governor, Amtrak does not check tickets the way airlines do. Will you ask the federal government to start asking for IDs and tickets before people can board a train?
We are going to outline shortly, I don't want to get ahead of Tom Prendergast, but we're going to outline shortly a new plan for Penn, part of which will be new security measures. Okay?
Thank you very much.
Next few weeks. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thanks, Governor.